CPSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam, and the CLAT examinations. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thumala, and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you to crack prelims and mains examinations, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing or focusing on the keywords and the key phrases. And by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, we will get into the mode of identifying the factual, analytical and conceptual questions for the preliminary examination, that is for 2021 preliminary examination. And by inculcating and imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your short notes for your mains answer writing, that is for the mains examination, you would certainly score higher marks, because by emphasizing or by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answers would be precise and concise. And once your answers are precise and concise, you will certainly score higher marks in the mains 2020. So therefore, this session, that is AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis, will certainly help you to score higher marks in the mains 2020, and also it will help you for the prelims and mains 2021. So do follow my session completely and get the benefit from AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And today we would be taking up the DNA, that is Daily News Analysis of 29th October 2020. And before I get into the Daily News Analysis, we will just focus at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is: be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are and not be ashamed of how others see you. So do not worry about how others are looking at or how others are actually trying to talk about you. But when you are focused and when you are consistency and you are in the mode of or the path of your success, you're streaming for, so certainly be proud of about it and do not worry about others, because you will be distracted. So the quote of the day is: be proud of who you are and not ashamed of how others see you. And before I get into the topic, that is daily news analysis, I would say a very good morning to one and all, everyone who is in the live and also in the live chat. Gauru Naidu, Subhash, Shalini, Srikumar, D. Suvarna, Ravi Babu, Khaja Fakhruddin, Naga Babu, all of you, a warm welcome to you to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And the one who is not in the live chat but in the live also, a warm welcome to everyone. And now we'll look into the news, that is which talks about the annual State of Education Report Survey. There is a survey which has been conducted by ASER, and we will be looking at the report of the survey which is in regards to the education. And this is also very important because it is part of your UPSC mains perspective, mains general essay perspective, in regards to focusing on the topic, that is education. As there is a report or the survey which has been conducted, which is an annual State of Education report, and this was conducted in the month of September. And the survey or the report of this survey, it very clearly depicts that about 20% of the rural children, that is the students, have no textbooks at home. As we know that because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, there are the schools which are being totally shut down, and there is only an online classes which are being taken up. And because of that, as per this survey, the report, 20% of the rural children have no textbook. And the survey which has been conducted nationwide, the survey is in regards to the rural education and the learning outcomes. So what is the main motto of the annual State of Education Report Survey? It is surveying about the rural education and about the learning outcomes, and that too learning outcomes and the rural education based on the readings and the arithmetic skills. So what are the skills? The ASER survey has been taken into consideration, that is the reading and the arithmetic skills. Reading and arithmetic skills have been taken into consideration, that they focused on the rural education and the learning outcomes of the reading and arithmetic skills, and this is being conducted by an NGO called as NGO Pratham, and the survey has been conducted by NGO Pratham since almost 2005, that is last 15 years the survey is been conducted. And as per this survey, Andhra Pradesh has less than 35% of children with textbooks. Overall, if you look at it, is 20% in regards to the rural children. But when we focus particularly to a state, that is of Andhra Pradesh has, the children's 35% of the children, that is the students or the people, had textbooks, and only 60% in regards to the Rajasthan had textbooks. This is not, it is had. That means they have textbooks. Andhra Pradesh, less than 35% of the children only have textbooks, and in Rajasthan around 60% of the students have the textbook. And when we compare it with the northeastern states, that is West Bengal, Nagaland, Assam, they have, the students there have 98% of textbooks with the students. So therefore there is a vast difference of the students having textbooks, and then in regards to the rural education and the learning outcomes depends upon the textbooks they are carrying. And the overall, if you look at, only 20% of the rural India students have the textbooks, and this survey says that 1 in 3 rural students had done no learning activity at all. Look at it, that is 1/3, almost. If you are looking at 100, then almost 33% of them do not have any kind of learning activity. Here the keyword is the learning activity, rural education and the learning outcomes. These are the keywords which you need to focus, and then you can certainly use it in your short notes. If you are carrying a notes, trying to make a notes out of this AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis, you can definitely get into the mode of the keywords emphasizing which I am: rural education, learning outcomes, and then learning activities. So 1 in 3 rural children had no learning activities, and about 2 in 3, that is almost 75%, had no learning material. They do not have any material or activity which is being taken up by the schools when the survey was conducted in the month of September. And only 1 in 10 children had access to the live online classes. So this is the report by the survey which talks about the rural education, which talks about the learning outcomes, which talks about the kind of percentage of the students possessing the textbooks, and then what kind of learning activities they are actually following, and then the materials they use it, and various activity which is being taken up by the schools to the students, and then the amount of, that is the percentage of the students having access to the online live classes, is the outcome of this survey or the report of the survey by ASER. And it also shows that the report, it founded that 5.3% of the rural children of age 6 to 10 years have not yet enrolled in the school for the year 2020-2021. But when you compare the number of children not enrolled among the age of 6 to 10 years in the year 2008 is just 1.8. So certainly comparing it with the 2018 and then now 2020, if we focus, the children who are not yet enrolled in the school has increased, and now the percentage is 5.3% in regards to the rural children. So what is the focus here is 6 to 10 years. And when we focus among 15 to 16 years old, the enrollment is slightly higher than what it was in the year 2018. Now in the year 2020, it is slightly higher. It is slightly higher. So the focus is the enrollment in the age group of 6 to 10 years has reduced. But when we compare it with the enrollments in the age group of 15 to 16 years, it has slightly increased. It is high comparing it with 2020 to 2018. This is the analytical point of view and the factual and the statistic data which you can use it in your short notes in the mains examination. And this survey provides a glimpse of the levels of learning loss. This is also a crucial keyword in the entire survey of the report of ASER, which states that because of no offline classes, because of the pandemic situation, and wherein the online classes are prevailing, but when we focus in regards to rural education and the learning outcomes, textbooks, materials, activity, live classes, focusing on all these various aspects, there is certainly a point which, or the keyword which we need to focus, that is in regards to the levels of learning loss. Certainly there is a levels of learning loss to the students, especially in the rural India, and definitely this is because of the reasons for the levels of learning or loss of learning levels of the students in the rural India is because of varying levels of access to the technology. So the reasons why there is loss of learning, levels of learning, is because of access to technology, various levels of access to technology, and also to schools and family resources, resulting in the other one is digital divide in education. So certainly the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure what we are discussing now is certainly you have the digital divide. That means the digital infrastructure across India is not same as in the urban area, rural area and suburban area. So definitely there is a digital divide, and that is one of the reason why the levels of learning loss has been in the rural India. And the report says that it's not only because of the just because of the technology that the levels of the learning has been come down, but we have smartphones. Definitely even in rural India now we cannot deny that there are no smartphones. There are smartphones ownership, that means they do possess smartphones even in the rural India, comparing it with the 2018. But 1/3 of the children who are having smartphones do not receive any learning material. That is what is the gap which is reflecting that the learning outcome is less and the learning loss is high because of no learning materials being provided from the schools to the students who are having access to the smartphones also are experiencing the loss of levels of learning. So these are all the keywords and application point of view. That is the report of the survey by the NGO which is called as Pratham ASER survey. This is crucial information. And Srinu has joined. A warm welcome to you, Srinu. Now we will focus at the another news which is about geo-tagging glitch. So there is an area, geographical area which is being tagged, and that tagging of the, or else linking or showing or predicting a picture or a map of a particular country, of a geographical area by the Twitter, which is now the cause of concern, which has been taken up by a committee, and that committee is called a Joint Committee of Parliament on Data Protection Bill. This is again very crucial for the preliminary UPSC perspective point of view, because it is a parliamentary committee which has taken up the issue in regards to the geotagging, which is been not accepted by the government, or else the parliamentary committee and the joint parliamentary committee on the data protection bill has asked an affidavit from Twitter, that is an explanation from Twitter company or Twitter incorporation, and this Twitter is an US based parent company, and this is in the social media. Twitter is of the social media platform which is US based parent company, and the joint committee or the joint parliamentary committee of the or else on the data protection bill has asked and written explanation affidavit from the Twitter. Now we'll look at why it is seeking or asking an affidavit, because Twitter has shown Ladakh as part of China. Please do understand, Ladakh, that is the Union Territory. The other one is Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, and the second one is the Ladakh Union Territory, and Twitter has shown as depicted Ladakh as part of China. That is why the joint parliamentary committee on the data protection bill has sought and written explanation, seeking and written explanation or an affidavit by the Twitter, why Twitter has shown Ladakh as part of China. And this panel, that is the panel on data protection bill, that is parliamentary panel or parliamentary committee on the data protection bill, is headed by the BJP MP, that is Meenakshi Lekhi, and she has made it very clear that she wanted Twitter India to have a kind of explanation, and it said that Twitter India has apologized, no doubt, and now Twitter India, which is responsible for showing or depicting Ladakh as a part of China, has claimed, has accepted that it was a mistake. It was a mistake as the application geotagging has suffered a technical glitch. So what the Twitter India has said is, yes, there was a mistake depicting or showing Ladakh as part of China, which is absolutely wrong, and they have apologized, and they said, that is Twitter India has said it is a mistake because it was a technical problem. Glitch means problem. So Twitter India has made it very clear to the joint parliamentary committee on the data protection bill that it was a mistake, and they apologize in the sense they have said that they take the responsibility and they are sorry for what the mistake has been taken up, as they say it was a technical problem showing Ladakh as part of China. And the decision now by the joint parliament committee on the data protection bill is seeking an affidavit because the response or apologizing by Twitter India and saying that it was a technical problem, the parliamentary panel, it says they are unsatisfactory, and what the answers response is inadequate by Twitter India. That is why they wanted, rather than just an oral apologize and saying that it was a mistake, it was a technical glitch, it was a geotagging technical glitch, they made an answer, and the panel says no, they feel it is unsatisfactory and it is inadequate. And before I get into the next slide, a warm welcome to Ram Kumar Sava, Venkataram Reddy, a warm welcome to three of you to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis. And the panel says that rather than just the Twitter saying that it is a technical problem or technical glitch showing or depicting Ladakh as part of China, the panel says it is a question about national integrity, it is about sovereignty of the country, that is India, and the one who is not respecting the integrity and the sovereignty of India, it would be considered as a criminal offense. That is what the panel, that is the parliamentary committee, joint committee, parliamentary committee on data protection bill, saying that it is a grave mistake and it is a question about national integrity and the sovereignty of India, and the one who is not respecting the integrity and sovereignty of India, it can be, they can experience the criminal offense. And displaying Indian map improperly and incorrectly is an offense of treason. Treason means it is a disloyalty and betrayal to the country. So it can be considered as a criminal offense or an offense of treason, that is disloyalty towards the country or betrayal towards the country, and it will also attract an imprisonment of 7 years. Look at it, the kind of the data protection bill talks about the how you are depicting the India or Ladakh as the part of China. It is against the national integrity, sovereignty, and it will attract criminal offense, offense of treason, and also imprisonment of 7 years. And then it says, that panel says, Twitter is becoming a law unto itself. That means Twitter is trying to have some kind of dominance. That is what the panel is projecting. And the panel projected that depicting Ladakh as the part of China is violating Article 19 and the freedom of expression. That is Article 19, freedom of expression, it is violating. That it is against the national integrity, sovereignty, and then it will attract criminal offense and offense of treason. And the panel also questioned the Twitter India executives for the kind of the map of Ladakh depicting as part of China, and they also asked about the banning policy. This is the keyword. Please do take it into consideration. This keyword can be used in the mains 2020 examination in regards to the data protection bill. Data protection bill. So banning policy. What policy are we talking about? Shadow banning and banning policy. So what is shadow banning? That means if an ex-individual or an organization goes ahead with tweeting, which is not considered to be tweeted, so Twitter can go ahead with shadow banning. That means the content of the tweet will be banned by shadowing. That means if a particular line of a particular word of line is not in terms with the Twitter company, so it could be shadowed. It could be not visible to the users. It will not be visible to the users. So that is called as shadow banning. That is why even in Twitter we have limited words. We have limited words in Twitter. Okay, no doubt it was challenged, and again later on Twitter said that there is no limit. Later on it said that there is no limit, but definitely there is shadow banning. There is shadow banning, and that is what now the panel is also questioning about. The shadow banning or the banning policy which the Twitter has in regards to the tweets of various individuals, that is users, or it could be anyone. Surya has joined. A warm welcome to you, Surya. So this you can take it is from the data protection bill and also from the article violating Article 19, freedom of expression, criminal offense, offense of treason, and then shadow banning or banning policy. These are all very crucial keywords which you need to focus so that you can get a clear idea about how this can, how a question can be framed in the mains in regards to the data protection. And now we will look at the another news which talks about destruction of terror of safe havens. So there was a meeting that is the meeting by the foreign ministers of the Central Asian countries have met, the Central Asian regions or Central Asian countries have met, and there was a discussion in regards to the destruction, or there was a discussion in regards to the terrorism, strongly condemning the terrorism in all forms. The meeting was to condemn terrorism in all forms. The focus is on the terrorism, to condemn, to not accept terrorism in any form. And this was from India's point of view. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also said that the Central Asian region as India's extended neighbor. So the extended neighborhood, this is again in regards to the India international relations from mains GS paper 2. You can take this as, because the External Affairs Minister has described the Central Asian countries or the region as India's extended neighborhood. Please do understand the keyword here. Extended neighborhood is the keyword, and this you need to focus because it was addressed, or it is the statement of the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. He says that Central Asian region is India's extended neighborhood, and then these countries have joined India, wherein India is demanding destruction of safe havens of terrorism. That means the safe place of terrorism. That means terrorism is building in safe places. So where are the safe places? No doubt we are referring, but not straightforward, it is Pakistan. So certainly India is trying to take the help, or else get even the South Asian regions into a fold that they are also for destruction of safe havens of terrorism and condemning the terrorism in any form, and it was the second meeting between India and Central Asia dialogue. This is another keyword. So there could be a question in the mains based on the India Central Asia dialogue, how the India Central Asia dialogue would actually support the peace negotiation in Afghanistan or the Afghan reconciliation. Please do understand the role of India Central Asia dialogue in the peace negotiation in Afghanistan reconciliation. Discuss. This could be the question in the mains examination. The role of India Central Asia dialogue for the peace negotiation in Afghan reconciliation. So what we are focusing here is not just the Central Asian regions have come together and they are condemning terrorism in all forms, and India is saying that Central Asian regions are India's extended neighborhood, and we wanted those countries also to support India, which India is demanding the destruction of safe havens of terrorism. But the another side of it is you need to link one part to the another part, that is the terrorism or Central Asian regions. India is asking to destruct the safe havens of terrorism, and the another topic is, that is India Central Asia dialogue, and that we are linking with Afghan peace in Afghanistan. So look at it, here it is Afghanistan, here it is terrorism. So no doubt the root cause is terrorism or the Taliban in Afghanistan. So the possibility is role of India Central Asia dialogue in the Afghanistan reconciliation. And definitely the ministers, that is all the 5 Central and the Central Asian countries are 5 Central Asian countries which were part of the Soviet Union, disintegrated in the 1990s. And this again can be a geography map based question for prelims point of view 2021. And they condemned terrorism in all forms, and they were determined so that they will combat the terrorist safe havens, all the networks which the terrorist activities take place, and the infrastructure of the terrorism and the funding channels for the terrorism or the safe havens of terrorism. So Central Asian countries have come to support India in destruction of safe havens of terrorism by combating terrorist safe havens, networks, infrastructure and funding channels. All these 4 are keywords which have to be in your short notes in the mains examination. And the Central Asian countries are really happy the way India has announced an additional 1 billion line of credit for infrastructure and connectivity projects along Central Asian countries. So here the keyword again here is infrastructure development and connectivity projects. Infrastructure development and connectivity projects wherein India has granted 1 billion line. India has announced an additional 1 billion line of credit. And now when we are focusing in regards to the infrastructure and the connectivity, definitely we need to focus at the Chabahar port. Abul Kalam, very good morning to you. And the foreign ministers of, I said 5 Central Asian countries, and these 5 Central Asian countries are Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. So all the foreign ministers of these 5 Central Asian countries have really appreciated the efforts to modernize the infrastructure of the Chabahar port in Iran. So where is Chabahar port? Chabahar port is this place which is in Iran. And all this area is, you have the 5 Central Asian countries. So no doubt the connectivity of the Chabahar port will have an important link, especially in regards to the trade and transport between the Central Asian countries and South Asia. This port construction or else the infrastructure and connectivity developments will go ahead with the linking from Central Asian countries to South Asian countries. Not only that, we will have connectivity from India to Afghanistan, skipping Pakistan. Skipping, that is, we don't enter into Pakistan but we get into Afghanistan. So here, from here we can have connectivity from Mumbai to Chabahar port further from Zedan, this place, into Afghanistan. This is Afghanistan. So we can skip Pakistan and we can have trade and tourism with Afghanistan. Not only that, we can have link with Iran and the 5 Central Asian countries, that is Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. Not only that, we can have, that is to the Central Asian countries, and further from Central Asian countries we can have link to Moscow, that is to Russia. So it is from north to south corridor. This is north to south corridor. North-south corridor. So how important is Chabahar port? Now you can understand. And the linking or else having good relations with Central Asian countries and taking the advantage of the investments by India in the Chabahar port, and also the line of credit of 1 billion US dollars in connecting to the Central Asian countries and to Russia, and from north to south connectivity. So certainly this is an important link. Please do understand, I have explained better for the mains perspective also here. And definitely this announcement of financing by India will have a high impact community development projects. So here it is not only in regards to infrastructure development or connectivity development, but it is also in regards to the community development project, wherein even the citizens, the civilians also will be benefited in the Central Asian countries, as we are also doing a lot of developmental activities in regards to the health, education in Afghanistan. The same way, even in the 5 Central Asian countries also, the line of credit or the grant of financing by India will have a high impact on the community development projects in those countries. And definitely there is an mechanism to establish a working groups in the India Central Asia Business Council. So this is again very important in regards to the trade development. India Central Asia Business Council. India Central Asia Business Council. There would be a setting up of working group which comprises key chambers of all the participating countries, that is India and the 5 Central Asian countries. So this information is crucial for the prelims as well as mains examination. Prelims, I am talking about geography map based questions, and also in regards to the current affairs, when I am talking about which among the following, if the question is asked, which among the following is not among 5 Central Asian countries. So you know Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan are definitely the 5 Central Asian countries, and the 5 have been part of the India Central Asia dialogue. They are part of all the 5 Central Asian countries are part of India's Central Asia dialogue. So that is very, very crucial information in this topic what we have discussed. Now we will focus at the another news, which is in regards to the boundary issue with India is bilateral. Who tells this? China is saying to US. China is telling to US, or Mike Pompeo, that is US Secretary of State, wherein India and US had 2+2 ministerial dialogue in New Delhi. And then after that, now China has responded saying that the border issue what the face off or the standoff between India and China, what is prevailing now in the eastern Ladakh in regards to the LAC between India and China, or the border issue between India and China, is a bilateral issue. And then it says that it is a bilateral matter. And then China is saying there is no space for a third party intervention. And if there is any third party or any country which is trying to enter into the bilateral issues or the boundary issues, border affairs, boundary issues between India and China, so that country will be violating the norms of international relations. So there is a strong message from China against US, especially onto the Mike Pompeo's US Secretary of State, which has clearly stated that it would support India. And China has accused the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo that the boundary question between India and China is an bilateral matter and there is no scope for any third party intervention. And then this we have seen the response or accusing by China towards United States is because of the 2+2 ministerial dialogue which has taken up in New Delhi. And China is advocating that there has to be a development of bilateral relations, and there will be a development of bilateral relations between any two countries, or specifically now India and China, and that the development of bilateral relations should be conducive. That means should be in a very positive note, should be in a very strong relationship note. That too focusing on the regional peace, regional stability and regional development. So China is making it very clear that the bilateral relations would be focusing the developments, and that would happen in a very conducive atmosphere, focusing at the peace, stability and development. But the bilateral relation development should not infringe, should not disturb the legitimate rights and the interest of third party. So there is no scope or space for the third party intervention. That is a message which is being passed by China. And all this China is reacting because Mike Pompeo, that is US Secretary of State, has said that, or he has made a statement in the 2+2 ministerial dialogue between India and US in New Delhi. He said that US will stand with people of India as they are facing threats for their sovereignty and liberty, because as there is a face-off between India and China in the eastern Ladakh as of now, and in the past in Arunachal sector and in the middle sector, that is in Sikkim. So definitely US says that US will stand, or it will support the people of India whenever there is a threat to the sovereignty and liberty to India. And Mike Pompeo, that is US, also has hit, or he has used a strong words on the Communist Party of China, that CPC is a no friend to democracy, it is no friend to the rule of law, or it doesn't maintain rule of law, there is no transparency, and nor there is any freedom of navigation because of the China have its dominance in South China Sea. And then it says that there is no foundation of free and open prosperous Indo-Pacific region. So definitely US has focused on China, or the Communist Party of China, on these five, that definitely there is no kind of proper conduciveness which is being taken up by, conducive atmosphere created by Communist Party of China. And the Chinese Foreign Ministry has accused US for preaching an outdated Cold War mentality and preaching confrontation and geopolitical games. So here the keyword is confrontation and geopolitical games. So China is accusing US that it is creating or preaching confrontation and geopolitical games in Asia. Again, this conceptual could be a question in the mains examination. That is the 2+2 ministerial dialogue, or Quad, or Malabar exercise. Here we are talking about 2+2 ministerial dialogue. All this could be the keywords in your mains examination, that is UPSC mains examination, wherein there could be a probability of the keyword being used, that US is definitely trying to create a confrontation and geopolitical games in Asia. So how do you comment on it? Madhu and M. Ramesh, a warm welcome to both of you also. And UK to partner for developing GIFT City. Now here we will look at the news which is in regards to the economy. United Kingdoms is now wishing to partner with the GIFT City. What is GIFT City? That is Gujarat International Finance Tech City. GIFT is Gujarat International Finance Tech City, which is in Gujarat. So UK is wanting to partner for developing the Gujarat International Financial Tech City, and also it wanted to fund infra pipeline which is being managed by the State Bank of India, and these two is been the UK has come forward by having or entering into a strategic partnership. This is the keyword here. UK and India have entered into a strategic partnership to develop the GIFT City, and it has also agreed to set up a new funds of funds. This is a keyword. New funds of funds. So that those funds of funds will be managed by the State Bank of India, SBI Group, and that will be in order to route the UK's future capital investments in India. So this SBI, through the new funds of funds, it will be as a route, as a channel, as a path that the UK's capital or the future capital or investments, capital investments into India would be getting into India through a route, that is through the SBI Group, that is through new funds of funds. So these two are the one which have been taken up by India and UK, and they have entered into strategic partnership with GIFT City and the new funds of funds through the SBI managed one, wherein UK's future capital investments into India. And at the 10th Economic and Financial Dialogue, this signing, or both the countries have entered into the strategic partnership and they have signed the new infrastructure finance and policy partnership. So what is the strategic partnership which India and UK has entered is this. It has entered into the new strategic partnership, that is new infrastructure finance and policy partnership. This is the new strategic partnership which India and UK have entered, wherein the GIFT City will be partnered with UK, and then the funds future or UK's future capital investments will get into India, and this will help India executing national infrastructure pipeline by the UK's future capital investment into India, that is of 1.4 trillion US dollars. So this investments, that is 1.4 trillion US dollars, will definitely help India to execute the national infrastructure pipeline through a partnership that is called as the new infrastructure finance and policy partnership between UK and India, which will support or which will develop the GIFT City, and it will also get into India its capital investments through the SBI. These two are very crucial economic terms, how the trade takes place between India and UK. And the two countries have announced a series of ambitious initiatives, that is in regards to the trade, infrastructure, sustainable finance and research. Please do understand, it is not just finance and research, it is sustainable finance and research. This is the keywords, and these are the keywords which you need to certainly be sure that it will be part of your answer writing. Sustainable finance and research. And the bilateral trade, economic point of view between India and UK, the bilateral trade between India and UK is 24 billion pounds in 2019, and which now India is now the second largest project investment source. Project investment source, this is the keyword again. So the second largest project investment source for UK is now India. So India stands second largest project investment source for UK. Again, this is prelims perspective 2021 in regards to the India-UK bilateral trade. And definitely to combat the pandemic, India and UK have jointly announced an investment of £8 million for the research and definitely research is for what? To understand and to address various factors which are leading to the severity of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, especially to the South Asian populations who are in UK and India. So the focus is on the South Asian population which are in UK and India. Joint investments of 8 million pounds, and the bilateral trade between India and the UK is 24 billion pounds. So this is in regards to the economy, that is international relations. If we focus economy point of view, because we have signed a strategic partnership deal that is called as New Infrastructure Finance and Policy Partnership. So now we will recapitulate what we have discussed. We have looked at the survey, which is in regards to the learning activity and learning materials. Learning activity and learning materials. This is, we are focused in regards to the Twitter INC, which has used or showed Ladakh as the Union Territory as part of China. And Pawan has joined. Very good morning to you, Pawan. And this is in regards to the Central Asian regions. How India is saying that Central Asian regions are the extended neighborhood of India, or India's extended neighborhood. And we have also focused on the infrastructure development and connectivity. This we focus the connectivity from Iran to Afghanistan, and from Iran to Afghanistan to Central Asian countries, and further to Russia, that is Moscow. And then we are focused again in regards to the north to south corridor. So these are all very important conceptual understanding for the mains examination. And boundary issue, this wherein China is or accused USA that the bilateral issue, the boundary issue is a bilateral issue and no third party intervention is required. And this we are focused in regards to the international economy itself. How UK or else UK and UK bilateral, or else the bilateral trade between India and UK. Bilateral trade between India and UK. This we are focused. Again, economy, international point of view. How they are investing in gift, and also in regards to the future capital investments into India from UK. So I hope this was a very informative, knowledgeable session which would be very, very useful for prelims as well as mains 2020 also. And I would say a very big thank you and a good luck, and then do maintain consistency, do stick to your schedule and take care of your physical health and mental health, and then see you again tomorrow for the daily news analysis at 7:30 AM. But before that, do like the video, share the video and subscribe the video, and then have access to the website of AKS IAS Academy, and also subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And then I would say a big thank you to all who are in the live and also in the live chat, and then see you tomorrow at 7:30 AM. Thank you very